Joshua chapter 5. When all the Amorite kings west of the Jordan and all the Canaanite kings who lived along the Mediterranean coast heard how the road had dried up the Jordan River, so the people of Israel could cross, they lost heart and were paralyzed with fear. Israel established covenant ceremonies. At the time, the Lord told Joshua, use knives of Crane to make the Israelite circumcised people again. So Joshua made Crane knives and circumcised the entire male population of Israel of Gibeath Harath. Joshua had to circumcise them because all the men who were old enough to bear arms when they left Egypt had died in wilderness. Those who left Egypt had all been circumcised, but none of those born after the Exodus during the year in the wilderness had been circumcised. The Israelites wandered in the wilderness for 40 years until all the men who were old enough to bear arms when they left Egypt had died. For they had discovered the road, and the Lord vowed he would not let them enter the land he had sworn to give us, a land flowing with milk and honey. So Joshua circumcised their sons who had not been circumcised on the way to the promised land, those who had grown up to take their father's places. After all the male had been circumcised, they rested in the camp until they were healed. Then the Lord said to Joshua, today I have rolled away the shame of your slaves in Egypt. So the place has been called Gilgal to this day. While the Israelites were camped in Gilgal on the plain of Jericho, they celebrated Passover on the evening of the 14th day of the first month. The month had marked their exodus from Egypt. The very next day, they began to eat unleavened bread and the roasted grain harvested from the land. No manna appeared that day. It was never seen again. So from that time on, the Israelites ate from the crops of the Canaan. The Lord's commanders confronted Joshua. After Joshua approached the city of Jericho, he looked up and saw a man facing him with a sword in hand. Joshua went up to him and asked, are you friends or foe? Neither one, he replied. I am commander of the Lord's army. At this, Joshua fell with their face to the ground in reverence. I'm at your command. Joshua said, what do you want the servant to do? The commander of the Lord's army replied, take off your sandal, for this is holy ground. And Joshua did as he was told.